Are you curious what a 1930 dinner tasted like? Well, join me as we discover this side dish, this dessert, and more, including a main dish, out of this 1930 cookbook. So join me and my family in the kitchen as we explore how to make these recipes and taste them for ourselves. So we have salmon puff, and
What makes it puff?
Well, I think because it has eggs, so it does puff up a little. All right, we're ready to make our mock angel cake from 1930. So I have all my dry ingredients here, which I'm gonna mix together first. I have a cup of all-purpose flour. I have a cup of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of the salt of your choice. I love kosher salt, so I'm adding that. And then instead of sifting this with a sifter, we're just going to whisk it really well. That's what I prefer doing. All right. And then over here we have a cup of scalded milk, which means I've just heated this on the stove until it's hot to the touch, but not bubbling or boiling. So we're gonna slowly add this into our mixture here and get a bit of a batter for our mock angel cake. Let me know if you've ever heard of this. It uses way fewer egg whites, which is, a little more economical. So I wanna make sure this is not lumpy. It says we don't want lumps in this mixture. So I'm glad I'm using a whisk. All right, that looks really good. And then over here, I have some egg whites that I've already beaten up. So there's stiff peaks on them. And we're gonna be, let me take this out. We're gonna be taking this and folding this into our batter and getting that all ready for our cake, which I'm really excited. I have a loaf pan here, which is ungreased. Because you want the cake to be able to climb up the sides with the leavening power of the egg whites and also the baking powder in here. And I'm excited to try this recipe because it's a nice, quick way to have a lovely homemade cake made from scratch. And I like to serve angel food cakes with sugared strawberries and some sweetened whipped cream with vanilla and powdered sugar mixed in. Let me know what you like to have your angel food cake with. I also once made a coconut one that I put a homemade lemon curd over, and that was delicious. So a lot of good combos, but for spring and summer, I love berries. Well, basically anytime, but okay, so let's get this in here. Should be as fluffy as possible here. And we have our oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And it says to bake this for 45 minutes. I might be peeking in at it at about 30 minutes since my oven is set to convection mode, and we will see what happens. So I'll see you back here when we have a finished cake, and then we'll get ready to make our succotash. All right, we have our mock angel cake out of the oven. It looks fabulous, so I'm gonna give it some time to cool. And then we will be moving on with our succotash and the rest of the dinner. So we are back with our succotash, the other part of our 1930 dinner. So I have some lima beans. These are a little bit defrosted. They're frozen. And then I have some corn, so there's just 2 cups of each. And I'm boiling some water right now in this tea kettle. I'm going to be pouring boiling water over this pan. I also have another pan of lima beans because I'm making a separate one for my son that loves lima beans but does not love corn. So as soon as these are simmered up with a little bit of boiling water poured over them, we will go to the next step of the recipe. I'm just going to show you for a brief moment that I poured boiling water over the lima beans. So I'm going to be cooking these up until they're tender, which should not take too long, and then we'll move on with the recipe. Okay, you can see that I've added milk and corn to the lima bean mixture, and we're supposed to simmer this down for a little bit until the corn is soft, and then we're going to be adding our seasoning ingredients. Okay, so it's time to season our succotash. We have 4 tablespoons butter here, and I'm going to add a little bit of butter to the other lima bean one. And then we have some salt and pepper. So I'm just going to add a little bit to this. I may season it more after I taste it, but I don't want to over salt too much. So we're going to add a little bit to that. And then it does not call for any herbs in the recipe, but I love herbs. And so I'm just going to add a couple pinches of rosemary, maybe 3. I think that will add some nice flavor to this. A lot of times with these older recipes, I think it's totally okay to take some liberties and add some herbs or other seasonings as you like, because these tend to be a little bit on the plain side, depending on what the recipe is. But this is largely done. I'm just going to make sure that the butter melts, but it looks yummy, as you can see. Oops. So I'm going to call this succotash done, and we're going to move on to our main dish, the salmon puffs. So I will see you there. So now we're going to get ready to make our 1930 main dish, salmon puffs. So what we have here is some baked salmon that I just sort of flaked. I baked a whole fillet and just sort of went through, made sure to get the bones out of there and flaked it up. You can also chop it up a little bit if you want. You could also use canned salmon, but I'm using this today. There's 2 cups of this. The recipes will all be down in the description below, so no worries on that. And so to this, we are going to add salt. It doesn't really say how much, but I'm gonna do about a teaspoon in there, more or less. And then we're going to add white pepper and paprika. Again, it doesn't say how much. So maybe half teaspoon of each, more or less. I think those are really nice seasonings for this. Let me know in the comments down below if you love paprika. I love paprika and garlic together. I think that's really nice as well. So that is smelling really great already, just those seasonings. I love that, look how beautiful. And so then we're gonna add soft breadcrumbs. I have just a piece of leftover rye bread that I sort of crumbed up. I always keep extra bread in the freezer for these purposes. So then we can mix that in there. We have a tablespoon of lemon juice that we're gonna add in there. Oh, and I forgot well, let's put a little bit of fresh cracked pepper besides the white pepper in there. What the heck? You can't go wrong with seasonings. All right. unless you way oversalt it. So we have 3 well-beaten eggs there. And I think this is a wonderful dish to use up leftovers or a really quick dinner, even for like a dinner party, since you put it in little ramekins. I think it looks really elegant and pretty. So we're gonna mix this up well. That looks lovely. So what we have here is a kind of roasting baking pan. You can use a smaller one as well, but any type of pan like this, a 13 by 9 would work. But I have my ramekins that I sprayed with pan spray. And what we're gonna do is put a little bit of each of this mixture. I think it should be making around 6. And then we're gonna put boiling water around so it comes, oops, I caught a bone. Be on the lookout for bones if you use the fresh salmon, because sometimes you will find more. But anyway, yes, so you want to put the boiling water that comes about 1 inch below the top. So we want to fill this quite a bit. I might be adding boiling plus some hot water from the tap just to make sure that we get enough. Oops. And yeah, we should be able to fill up 6. So if someone is a little more hungrier, they can eat a second one. Since there's 3 of us, we could each have 2 if we wanted. So yes, I think this is a nice dish that looks really pretty. Let me know if you love salmon or any kind of fish. What's your favorite fish? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna try to evenly distribute these as best I can. All right, so I don't need to show you the boiling water, but that's gonna be poured close to the top of these as far as I can get. And then we're gonna bake these for half an hour. It actually doesn't say the temperature, but I put it at 350 and we'll see kind of how they look after that. So we'll be back to take a look. I wanted to show you a little peek of the cups with the water. I wasn't able to fill it too much more than this because of the size of the pan, but I think it'll be great. Hey, our salmon puffs are out of the oven. I'm going to carefully pick one up. Let's see if we can see this a little closer. Ooh, that's a little bit difficult. Let me see if I can pick it up in a different way so you can see better. Ah, that's better. So it did puff up a little bit. The egg is set and it looks delicious. So I'm excited to try this with the family. So next we're gonna move on to the table setting for this 1930 meal, and we'll be back to taste these delicious dishes. So while our main dish is in the oven with salmon puffs, let's talk a little bit more about this 1930 cookbook, New Delineator Recipes. So it says it includes 10 exclusive recipes by Anne Batchelder. And I looked up a little bit of information about her. Here is her section, where she has an orange and shrimp salad, clam fritters, macaroni croquettes, maybe many different recipes, which I am excited to try. I have my notes here about her, and it was really interesting. She was born in 1881 in Vermont. Not only did she publish a lot of cookbooks, but also poetry books, which I think is really exciting. And she was also involved in the women's suffrage movement for voting rights. And in 1918, she wrote to a newspaper about that issue. And she also became the associate editor of the Ladies' Home Journal magazine. So she was quite famous for not only the suffrage movement, but also being an editor and a writer. And she also really loved food and cooking. So there are some really interesting recipes, everything from sauces to desserts. And those are her personal recipes, which I am very excited to try. So let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a video on some of her recipes. I bet we could make a meal out of these for sure. So I love this as a continuation of the bigger book, the 1928 Delineator cookbook that I have. It has a lot of wonderful sections, and I'm looking forward to exploring more with all of you. So we're going to check out our salmon puffs in just a moment, then move on to the table setting and the family tasting of this 3-course meal. I will see you there. So here is the table setting for our 1930 dinner. We have the lovely salmon puff main dish, and then we have the lima beans and corn, the succotash. Then we have the lovely mock angel cake. It looks like angel food cake met pound cake. And then I'm serving it with some sugared strawberries, and we'll have also some whipped cream. And on the table, I have some, well, they're actually curtains that I used on top of the tablecloth. I got those at a thrift shop, and I love how they look on the table. And then my son made this really cool cardboard sculpture centerpiece at school, so I thought that would add to the spring flair. I will see you in the family tasting and see what everybody thinks. All right, we're here with the family to try this 1930 dinner.
Okay, what do we have? It smells fish.
So we have salmon puff, and
What
we
makes it
have
puff?
well, I think because it has eggs, so it does puff up a little bit. It's not really like a souffle, but
yeah.
And then we have succotash and what I call tash, just the lima beans.
Can I take it out of this?
Oh yes,
Oh, it's like a salmon cake.
yes.
Oh.
Actually, yeah, that's quite nice. I didn't realize.
For some reason, I thought it would be like
It looks really nice, like a little, yeah, salmon
For some
cake.
reason, I imagined it would be like cream puff, but full of salmon.
Oh yes. Excited to try this.
Mmm.
Mmm.
Salmon puff is really good.
Mmm.
I approve.
Mmm. That's nice.
It's very fishy.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's basically mostly salmon.
Yeah.
And then a little bit of rye breadcrumbs and tiny bit of other stuff. But it basically is a salmon cake, so.
I think my takeaway is,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't like this straight,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe after this video,
Yes.
I'm gonna like maybe put some sriracha on it or something.
Oh, yes, yes.
The flavor, all that fish flavor all at once is a lot for me.
I do get it.
All that fish flavor all at once is perfect for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see how a little, I would actually think a little hot sauce on this would be good. So yeah, this is succotash. You cook it with milk and butter. I added a little bit of rosemary, but.
I like the rosemary.
Mm-hmm. I think it adds something to it because it's not like crazy flavorful, but you know, it's not bad. Has your tash.
It's good.
Yeah. Well, join us for the second part of the tasting with dessert in a little bit.
Go ahead.
All right, it's 1930 dessert time. We're having mock angel cake.
Mock.
Yes.
So it's not real angel cake.
No. Fewer egg whites, a little bit different.
It looks like angel cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost angel cake.
Yeah.
No real angels were harmed.
True. 1 out of 10 whipped cream.
Oh yeah, might as well.
Are these special strawberries?
Oh, just strawberries with sugar.
Mock strawberries.
Ooh.
May I have the strawberry spoon,
Ooh,
please?
yeah. Sorry.
Thank
I
you.
actually
Anyways.
stole your spoon. All right, I'm excited to try this.
All right.
Mmm. Yum.
Good? Is it fluffy?
That's delicious. It's very moist.
Oh, nice. Let me try it a little bit without anything on it first.
That's a good idea. I should try some just the cake.
Mm. Yeah, it's nice.
That's a very nice angel cake.
Mm-hmm. I like this, and I think,
It's not quite as light and airy as I think angel cake usually is, but I actually kind of prefer this.
mm-hmm.
This is great.
I think it has a more, kind of a better density and flavor.
Yeah,
than
almost a
angel
little
food
more like
cake.
a regular cake or a pound cake or something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like cross between pound cake and angel food cake, maybe. But this is yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Well, take a look at the slice, and hope you enjoy some at home.
I approve.